I should first explain that the project was procured on a design and build basis. Now what that means is that the client's architect and engineer only need do as much as they think is necessary for a contractor to be appointed and for the contractor to take full design responsibility for the project. So in this case, the architect did a very clear but very minimal drawing. It was clear in the sense that his intentions were expressed on the drawing. Most engineers spend most of their time designing rectangular buildings with conventional structures and so on. Occasionally, if you're lucky, you're offered the opportunity as an engineer of working on a really exciting project, and this was one. We had two or three rather like this following this one, but this was the first project that my office was involved with, which really did get a lot of people in the office quite excited. I remember when I first saw this drawing from the client's architects, Faulkner Brown, and thinking, wow, this is really going to be a lot of fun, not only for myself, but for two or three of the people in the office who were involved in this. As it turned out, there was a lot of work to do. And as I've mentioned, in a design and build project, you either do 99% of the design work, or sometimes rather less. But here, we were doing the full development from the architect's first sketch scheme, which I'm looking at here, which expressed very clearly his intentions without precluding us from making our own decisions as to how we wanted to develop it. We were dealing exclusively with our employer, who was Architan, the contractor for the project. They were going to do the membrane work and also the timber structure. So the decisions as to how we should move forward as designers, as structural designers, was a conversation between ourselves and our contractor, our employer. It didn't take long, really, to come to a few quite important decisions as to how we were going to make this work. The first thing that struck me was that the architect, the client's architect, had made it quite clear that, as had the employer from Cribbs Causeway, had made it quite clear that they wanted this to be a particularly special project, which of course always excites engineers when they hear that from their client. So we've made the decision that our parabolic arch would be possibly broken down into 6 segments. That was, in a sense, an intuitive idea. It was based not only on the method of analysing the structure, but also on the benefits that were inevitably going to arise from a buildability point of view. You can't take a 32-metre long arch on the motorway down to this site, and there's no way. You couldn't even break it into 2 pieces. I think that would be stretching the limits of what can be transported. So we thought, in general terms, that the idea of breaking it down to 6 short segments were A, making it transportable, B, making it buildable by a small fabricator not far away from the site, which we didn't at that point know who it was going to be, but that was our intention. So all in all, that was a decision that we lived with, and we were very pleased to have made that decision at an early stage.